Probably it's your first time to filter, or you have been filtering data in Excel or sorting data in Excel. Let's see how we get more tips on how to get it right when you're filtering and sorting in Excel, and we'll get into it right away.
Let's look at how to use the sort and filter commands for us to be able to visualize data in Excel. When you have a data set, especially if it's a big data set, you are not likely to visualize what is in this data set unless you filter and you sort. So let's see how the filtering and sorting works. Now, the first thing that you have to do for you to be able to sort your data is you have to highlight the data set. So in our case, this is the data set. If we want to select the entire data set, we press anywhere in the data set and press Ctrl Shift asterisk or number 8 on the keyboard, and then we go to Home tab. Under Editing, we go to. Why do we prefer custom sort as opposed to the sorting of smallest to largest and largest to smallest? Because when you've got many columns, then you have to tell Excel which columns you're interested in. So let's choose the custom sort, and then because the selected data has headers, this is checked. See what happens. Now you have the headers of the data, but if we uncheck the headers, then we do not have the column headers, and it will just be telling us to choose the columns based on the alphabet identifiers for the columns. So our data has headers, and now we are being asked, what do we need to select? Let's look at the data. For example, let's say that we want to look at how the companies were purchasing, and we want to look at the description, and then we want to organize the amount of sales in ascending order or descending order. So after selecting and we go to custom sort, we say sort by purchaser's name, which is the companies, and then we say let's sort them. We are sorting based on sale values, and then we sort A to Z or Z to A. Let's sort A to Z. Then let's first click OK. Now, as we can see, we have companies starting from G1, E1, then G1 again. We need to find out why G1 is behaving like this. Yeah. This is G1. So let's sort again. Custom sort. So we are sorting based on purchaser name. Okay, now we have companies starting from A1. So as we can see that we have A1, and it's after the entries for A1 come to the end that we start the entries for B1 in that order, from B1 then C1. Now, however, when you look at the amounts, for example, the amounts are not filtered in any order. So we can say that instead of having these amounts randomly, we can say, first of all, sort by company name from A to Z, and also sort amounts based on ascending order or descending order. So let's highlight again our data. We go to custom sort. After selecting the purchaser name, we come and select add level. You can see there is add level, and then we look for the amount, and we say we want to sort from largest to smallest, and we press OK. So here we see that from company A1, the amounts are listed starting from the highest to the smallest, and before you go to B2, you find that the amount in A1, 216, is the lowest. Now, this is briefly how you can have the data sorted. Now, let's quickly look at how data can be filtered. Now, again, what is the main reason why we might need to filter data? Right now, when you look at this data, you see companies, but you do not know how many different companies have been selected. And you may want to know, for example, for company A1, how many entries are there or how do they behave. The same with good description. We do not know whether all goods are described by vehicle hire or we have another description. Even the years we can see 2019, but we cannot tell whether the entries are only from 2019 or from other years. So the best way to see the different unique entries in each of the columns is to filter the data. Filter data follows the same process. You highlight data, Control Shift asterisk, and then we come and press filter. Now, there is also a shortcut for filter. After selecting the data, the shortcut for filter is Control Shift L. And then it gets the data selected and indicate whether the data that has been selected has headers, and you press OK. And then when you click under purchaser name, you can see that you have companies A1 up to Z1. Let's unselect everything, and now we can actually come and say, let's look at how the company W1 behaves, and we find that we have 5 entries that represent company W1. Now, as you can see here, when you select, this is how it looks like. Let's go and select the years. You can see that the years, we have years 2018 and 2019. Let's see 2018. We have quite a number of entries. Let's unselect the years and go back and select. Let's select all the years and go back and select the company name. When we select our company and check everything, go to W1, press OK. But when you go to W1, you find that all the entries are from 2019. We do not have any entries for 2018. Then also it shows you the amount of money. Now let's look at how filtering can be done for numbers. When you filter, not only can you be able to filter individual entries, but you can also use a criteria to select entries of interest. For example, we can say, when you look at our data, we find that we have figures above 100 million, 4 of them, and then we have figures above 50 million starting from 51. If you wanted to see all amounts, entries relating to amounts greater than 50, then you go on the tab, on the filter button, and then you say number filters, and you choose greater than. So if we are saying greater than 50 million, 50, and press OK. So here you are only going to see amounts above 50 million. Now let's look at our good description. All of them are vehicle hire, so we have nothing to filter there. It is just one characteristic. Then for dates, we can also filter dates. Date filters, we have equals, before, after, between, tomorrow. So you can actually have different filters. For example, you can filter dates that relate to quarter 1, third quarter, fourth quarter, or you can filter dates that only relate to August, and then you find that the invoice dates that are shown in the filter are only those relating to a month of August. If you wanted for quarter, first quarter, this is how the dates would look like. Now another filter option is that you can actually come and do filtering. Let's say, assuming for example we have color, let's say color red, highlight color, we have red here, we have blue, highlight color blue. We can come here and filter by color, and we see which of our data has been colored a certain figure. Assuming you have data which has been identified by colors, for example, you might say there are some entries that you would want to give a color such that you keep monitoring them. You can also be able to filter entries by the color of the highlight. Then another way to filter texts, for example, if we have company names in this column, we can actually do text filters, and we, for example, say look filter all texts which contain number 1, and we press OK. So you find that you have A1, under that you have A1, B1, C1. If we can remove that and say not that contains 1 but one that contains A, okay, because the word company itself has A, so you are going to have all companies being represented. Then we are also going to have a look at how you can actually look for A, but only relating to the company ID, but not from the word company. And we shall look at that when we look at advanced filter and application of using wildcards. One last thing that you can do is that when you have your data highlighted, one way of removing the highlights is actually selecting anywhere in the data, and you again go back to our home tab and go to filter and you click filter again, or you actually go back and press Ctrl Shift L and the filters will be out and there will be no data that is filtered. If we put back the filters, one last thing that we can see is that you can actually come and filter data in one column and also go and filter data by another column. For example, say greater than, let's say, top 10 items, and we find that company E1 and company L1 have only one item that is among the top 10 items. So filters can also be applied on more than one columns at a time. So I hope that the sort and filter commands have been understood, and I hope that you will find them very useful.
Filtering in Excel is interesting. Filtering is good, but it does not get better than advanced filtering. You probably are hearing about it for the first time. You probably have heard about it but not done it. Enjoy the power of advanced filtering. Let's get into it. Now, let's look at the advanced filter. From the normal filter functionality in Excel, realize that when you have your filters active, which you said you can activate by Ctrl Shift L, find that for anything that you select, you will not know what is selected under the filter unless you click on the filter itself and you try to check what is filtered. One of the ways to have you view what you are filtering is to actually use the advanced filter, and this is how the advanced filter works. As you can see, our data has different column titles: calendar year, month name, purchaser name, invoice date, goods description, and the amount. Now, depending on what we want to filter under each of the titles, then we come and do a table for our filter. In our case, if we want, for example, a purchaser name, we can type there company A1, company A2, company G1, or we can say a company that has anything like 1 in it. And this is how you write it. Now, when you say *1, in Excel, star is called a wildcard. It's one of the wildcards in Excel. So when you say *1, it means that what you are filtering ends with a 1. And if you say *1*, it means that any company that has a 1 in it, whether it is beginning, in the middle, or at the end. Then you can also say that you want to filter years 2018, and you also want to filter amounts that are greater than 0. As you can see, our data has amounts that are negative. So if you want to leave them out in the new data that you create, then this is how you organize. So you put the title of the column that you want to filter and then what you would want to filter under that column. Notice that here, when we say that we want to filter, if we wanted to do 2018 and 2019, it means that we also have to put 2019 here.
And if we don't put greater than 0 in 2019, for 2019 it will actually bring us amounts including negatives. So the rule is that when you are doing advanced filter, when you want to select either or, you put the criteria below, and if you want to select one criteria and another, then you put a criteria alongside the other. So here we want company name that ends with a 1. We need the calendar year 2018 and 2019 and amounts greater than 0 for all the years. So this is what we do. We come and go to the data tab. We go to sort and filter, then we go advanced. Then here we can identify the list criteria range. This is the criteria that we would want to filter with. Now our list incidentally is this side, so we have to come and select our list, and then we can say filter list in place or to another location. If you want to filter it where the data is, then we say okay. Let's take this criteria range here. So let's first create space where we shall put our criteria range. So we come and copy our criteria range and paste it here. So we come and say advanced filter, then select the list range. List range is this data here, and then the criteria range is this, and then we say filter the list in place, that is where it is. So this is our filtered list. If we came and deleted this, and then we come and do our advanced and run the list, we shall only have 2018 filter advanced. This is our criteria list, and then we shall only have 2018 in our data. So this is filtered within the same space. You can actually tell from your data that has been filtered for all companies that contain a 1 for the year 2018 and for amounts greater than 0, and you will not find any amount less than 0 here. Now let's look at how to do an advanced filter in a new place rather than filtering it within the same place where the list is. So let's try to do a filtering. Now we want to do an advanced filter based on this criteria. So we select the criteria and then we go to data and say advanced filter. Now this is the criteria range, it's already selected, but for the list range, we come and select our data here, and then we come and say copy to another location. And when you do that, it actually opens the worksheet where the criteria is, and then you put in the cell that you want to be the top leftmost. So when you do that and you say okay, you will have your list being reproduced based on the filters that you have. So you are very sure that this list is based on this criteria. So if you want company D with the name D, the best way is to put a star before and after D. Now if you come and do an advanced filter, you will run the filter, then the range is here, it is in the original data, and then you come and do the criteria range as this. Then you come and put in a different location, and you'd want to put from B7, then you would have your new filtered list. Let me see, let's move together. We have the list range, this is our list where we have been, and then the criteria range is this one. Yeah. Then copy to a new location, let's put here, and then we say okay. So as you can see, this is our list that has company name D only, D1, D2, and any other Ds for the year 2019 and also for the year 2018. So it is one handy way of filtering your data and also maintaining sight of what your filtering criteria is, rather than in the normal filter where your filter options are hidden until you click a drop-down menu. I hope you find this helpful and enjoyable, and I hope that you will apply it in your daily work for you to be able to be efficient at what you do. Thank you.